So thank you, Axel. I must admit, I'm deeply impressed on how much you understand from my group. Perfect. So, do you have questions to Axel? There are two mics in the auditorium.
Hi. Thanks for the great presentation. Definitely sets the stage for next few sessions, and I think, at least I felt that a lot of program I saw touches some of the points, so thanks for giving us that kickoff. One very high-level question, and not to take too much time. You had a very clear separation of functionalities or applications that call in the compute and not bringing them to zone and zone as a data. Maybe certain variants exist where applications also come to the zonals. Do you agree with that, or do you really see the vision of SDV has to be that functionalities has to intact, stay in compute, and zonal is really pure data collection?
That is a good question, and also what I showed is the true north. So that would really, so if I would build up a car today, I would go with that, let's say, true north approach. But there are reasons for having functionalities at lower level. Especially, we still have certain domains that are, let's say, not needed on the higher level, and also they have safety and security requirements that need to be as close to the hardware as possible. And these functions, but they also won't make the difference at the end for this functional differentiation that's needed from the vehicle, and these functions are for sure, let's say, in the lower levels. It's not that digital, but you should really be aware, and that is, I think, important. If you would like to bring data out of the vehicle, you have to be aware that you bring the deterministic data if you need this on the highest possible level, because on the lowest level you will never get these data out of the car. And that is the trade-off. There will be a lot of functions, easy functions on the lower level, but for having these fancy topics and bundling of services and having streaming data, also camera data, at the end of the day, these will be raw data to the upper level.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Further questions? Colt.
Yes, hi, my name's Colton. I'm with Intrepid Control Systems. Presentation is very interesting. I've seen a lot of presentations specifically from Bosch that reference 722 tunneling for packing and unpacking classical networks as well as IOs. So I'm seeing that heavily from Bosch, but I'm not sure that I see that like from a lot of OEMs. I'm not sure if that's a custom requirement from Bosch, or this is sort of an innovation that's coming directly from Bosch, and if you have plans to standardize it from end to end, something like analog devices E to B, for example. Do you see that those two things competing with each other, or is it just a whole nother need of the 1722 in the network as Bosch sees it?
First, okay. First he will take the answer, then I have also some statement.
So what we think is about 1722, it fits perfectly to TSN, and with TSN you get quality of service, you get guarantees for latency, you get guarantees that your data is shipped. All this is available. Said this, as Axel pointed out, hardware only is available now. You see now silicon vendors coming up with hardware solutions. It's just coming up. If I look to the sensor sides, radar, video cameras, etc., we see that there is still standardization ongoing. Takes a while. All this said, I think it's the right way to do. It reduced the complexity. I ended up this year significantly at the OEMs with architectures in task force mode where they had a struggle with IP communication, where I had in the very low end of the vehicle with an embedded area where they put TCP and communication. I don't think this is the right way to do. And also it's a very costly way if you go with an IP connectivity in the embedded area. Therefore, I think it's the right way, but we need still educate. the entire automotive world. TSN is only understood by a few experts, and as Axel pointed out, tool availability is crazy. There are no sufficient tools available, and we need to make it easy to use all this technology. This is our job, that as an industry, that we learn how to use it and also provide tools for it.
Or perhaps add one more word, so also following up a lot of discussions with or problems with current architectures. People have understood in the last, I would say, 1 or 2 years that, let's say, having complex software development in one ECU helps a lot. That is the first step they made, and now there's a lot of continuous X pipelines available for building complex software stacks, for also make this data provisioning to the back end. All that is done within the last 2 or 3 years. But nobody thought currently about getting data through a network in a way that it's predictable, that it's stable, and that it's manageable. Currently, you have point-to-point connections of sensors to the complex ECUs, and nobody cares about using the same network. But with that heterogeneous setup, it will never scale. And therefore, we said we have to train the software guys now also to think about what network capacity do I need. And also from resource side, we decided the 7022 is currently a good approach to go in that direction, but it will take time.
Yeah, I think technically it's a great approach as well, and I have it in my presentations when I give them. But perhaps the one thing that I'm not seeing, maybe I just don't know because I'm ignorant of the topic, but the standardization of how do you transform from classical CAN or LIN, and how do you pack it to how do you unpack it? You don't want that necessarily, like you said, being done in software. So there should be some, not just the transport layers standardization, but how do you pack and unpack? And if that could be standardized, then you could realize a hardware solution perhaps.
So-called, you may be aware about TC14 in Open Alliance.
Yes.
They have a subgroup now on a remote control protocol. This is the work that we need to do.
Okay, great. Yep, thank you.
And said this, 7022 is also proven in serial production. All the AVP and audio systems are running on 7022, right? That it's no doubt that this is the right solution. Nobody will go for IP communication for audio systems.
Thank you.
Welcome. Jürgen?
Jungscheuring TSN systems. Yeah, I certainly agree on the 7022 point, but my question actually is a different one about switch abstraction. So AUTOSAR versus Young model. So I would be interested. What is your opinion about that? Will one of these win, or do we need to maintain both of them, or is this going to be split over the continents, or what is your opinion about that? I mean, I think we agree it's a must-have. Otherwise, we cannot control the complexity. But what is the approach? What do you think?
So I have a personal opinion. My colleague said it will be most likely the Yang model, but I also was told there is discussion ongoing. So it's. And for the details, I have to hand over to Thomas.
I think it's not much to add. I think it's, as said, this is a crucial ingredient for the software-defined networking. For software-defined vehicle, you need such methods. If it will be Young-based, AUTOSAR-based, as Axel said, I'm biased to Young. Let's see.
But that means we need to start both, right? We need to kind of maintain both in order to...
For the time being, I see that we require both.
Okay.
And also give a feedback on this AUTOSAR topic. So having this history with AUTOSAR, so AUTOSAR currently is, let's say, it takes some time. If you are not ready now with a specification, it will take long time, and then you still have this AUTOSAR topic with collaborate on specification, compete in integration. And what we need to have is, let's say, integration that is, let's say, comparable or open. If we have a competition on the integration of a generic model, then we have good ones and bad ones, and that would hurt us at the end of the day.
Hello, Martin Miller, Microchip. Thanks for the presentation. I have one question. You mentioned simulation in your presentation, and I'm wondering which level do you want to achieve? I mean, you can say that functional level on kind of a digital interface, or do you want to go down to physical layer, maybe include the cable model, connectors? So where do you draw the line?
We have simulations, and Thomas can give you the answer.
So I don't think that we do a simulation for physical layer. Probably they are necessary to also simulate physical layer, but we believe that we have to assume physical layer works. We did a great job in standardization, Steve. We assume physical layer works. And now we need to see on layer 2 and above how the network behaves. Also, we need to look if a connection fails, what kind of fail-safe mechanisms you embed in your system. Also, we have to simulate cases like you have bubbling idiots in your network. What happens if how you can filter out data that are probably not okay. All this stuff need to be simulated. That you also simulate corner cases prior you embed this in software and in the system. That you can get a very good confidence that the system runs.
Okay, thank you very much.
Next one.
Hi, Jakob Zirchmer from TD Tech Auto. You mentioned standardization of network drivers. I wonder if you are considering VirtIO, because it is VirtIO coming from virtualization. Basically, in every hypervisor, you would use a VirtIO net driver for virtual Ethernet. I'm a huge fan, and I wonder if this is being somehow considered to not make a new standard, but rely on something that is quite established already. Just wondering if it's a term that is relevant for you.
We have to talk.
Okay, yeah, sounds good, thanks.
All right, thanks. Something else? Any further question? So then thank you again, Axel.
Thanks a lot.
So Devan Nilsson and David, can you get ready with your mic? So the next presentation is from Brazil, from the Universidade Federal de Pernambuco in Recife. It's a pleasure for me to have our presenter, Devan Nilsson Campbell. He's an associate professor at the University of Pernambuco in the computer science area. I don't know where's the